What up, guys? This is Get Out of Bed with Austin. How you doing? I did just get out of bed recently. So hope you're doing good. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's my birthday. I got 32 years now, and I wanted to share a few things, maybe 3 or 4 really important things that I really learned the hard way. And if you're smart and wise, you'll take what I'm saying and really integrate it into your life right now to make it a bit easier. So number 1, the first thing is being able to control your emotions. This is more important than wealth, than health. Health, it goes right along with your health, but being able to actually control your emotions it's more important than getting the Lamborghini and all these materialistic things, because your emotions will actually either, even if you get all those things, you get the woman, you get the wealth and everything, your emotions, if you're not in control of them, they can destroy everything that you've created almost instantly. If you're not in control, if you're a pretty high testosterone guy like myself, who is prone to, outbursts really when I've been just out of control, you have to really get that in check. And if you're the type of guy too who's super closed and you don't even know how to express any emotion, that's also a sickness too. You need to figure out how to balance that and be in control of that. And when the emotions come, you need to figure that out. So there's either 2 things that can happen. You're the type of guy who, when the emotions come, like me, and you feel like, okay, I want to go hit somebody, or I want to, I can't stand this. This is insane. I feel like, this pressure's in. Or you feel numb, but actually that numb, something happens, somebody says something that push your boundary, and you're emotionally affected, but you just kind of let it go, whatever, it's fine. That's actually pretty much just as bad. So you need to figure out how to balance your emotions, usually with boundaries, and also finding your life purpose, actually stepping into that role that gives you your own value and your own self-respect. So that way you just give off the energy that people are not going to really push you around, or they're not going to affect you emotionally, because they know that you're just so on your mission. It just kind of happens naturally. So I'm trying to get into the light here, so that's something that I didn't realize how important that was in my 20s, in my earlier years. Your emotional well-being, your emotional balance is so important. It actually is the most important, because when you can start to control that and you can get in control of your emotions, you can literally do anything with it, and you can channel it, with the practices that I teach, with controlling your lower energies as well, the lust or whatever, to actually control that, and in line with your emotions, with your thoughts, you can actually do anything. Number 2, let's see what we're talking about. So thinking before you say something. How many times have I, and even more in the recent months and in years, I've said certain stuff that just was not necessary. It was just it throws the vibe off. If you say stuff with your in-laws, you might say something and it's just that wasn't necessary. Or this is really immature. That's what I was realizing about myself. Man, I'm very immature. Sometimes I'll say something without thinking, or I'll say something based on ego or emotion. So the ego is fragile. You're gonna blurt out something. It's stupid. Even something that's just very, just doesn't make sense. So you're sitting with a group of people, and you say something because it's your ego is kind of telling you to say this thing to sort of get some weird control or something of the situation, but it would have been way better had you just said nothing. Or if somebody's bugging you, you have to really or you're suspicious about somebody, or something, right? And a lot of the times you have to really sit and not react on the first thoughts that you have. You have to be in control of those things as well when those thoughts come in. Like, okay, if I don't say this, what's going to happen? Okay, probably nothing, and I can say this again at a later time or whatever. If I do say this, what's going to happen? If I do actually say this thing, that's probably going to happen. It's probably not going to go well, or it's going to be awkward and uncomfortable. And it's just like, or for me, if it's like me, I don't really feel that awkward and uncomfortable a lot of times. But if it's like I say something, you just feel the vibe off. You just feel like that's something I can't take back. That's something that was just, even if it's a little thing, but you can tell it's just kind of like, that was kind of stupid, and that affects you. So, yeah. So if that makes sense, this one's huge. So not taking things so personal. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with that. Like I have. There's been time, I moved to a third world country and, learned a new language and just really got involved heavily down here. And I realized those patterns throughout my life, I've, even with my family too. Like they'll say something to me, say a joke, whatever, and I'll be like feeling very, hurt by it, or I'll take it personally. But that's also depending on where I'm at, at that time. So if I'm stabilized emotionally, if I'm stabilized in all these other ways, those things don't really affect you that much. But hey, everybody goes through times of weakness. Everybody goes through kind of imbalance at times, right? And those are the times when those things come, and you take things personally, and it brings you down even more. And you're just so. To avoid that in the first place, think too. Those first two things I was talking about. Thinking before, somebody says something, okay, what's the big deal? However, there's times too where you have to stand up for yourself. Definitely. You can't just let people do it. But if you have those first two things under control, it just, the emotional things and you're thinking, it doesn't really happen. People just don't really pick up on that. It's weird. That's just like the universe, the world that we live in, literally reacts and tests us as we're going through it. So if we're feeling kind of down and stuff, there's just gonna be more things for some reason. That's just the way it is. So you get those first two under control. Thinking what you're saying and your emotional imbalance. You're not gonna really feel that it's so down, because the value of yourself is high, and that other people's words and stuff, what they say, doesn't really affect you. Something that I really experienced here was like gossip. I'm in a small town in the jungle, and there is a lot of gossip. I'm like one of the only tall white American guys here, so it's like it's news to them. It seems like. So that was something that really kind of got to me at the beginning, and with my wife here, and I was just pretty bugged by it a lot of times. But then it's like, who cares? My value is high. We're happy. Like, it doesn't. And then when you start to realize that stuff kind of fades away anyway. It doesn't even, like, people, it's an energy thing. They pick up on your energy. So the more that you're thinking that, oh, they're all talking about me, you attract more of that, because you step into a room and you already automatically assume everybody's on you, instead of just doing it with positivity. They're like, hey, what's up? Hey, que pasa, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So that's a very important lesson that I learned. I don't know if that will go for everybody, but definitely some people are in work environments, whatever. Like, I think it's kind of the same thing. These corporate work environments in the United States are like the same as a small city here. So, yeah. And here's kind of the last couple things I had. Your past does not define you. So I've had a very shady past. I've had, I've had a lot of just things that, you think when you're younger, you're doing these things, you're into all these things, and it's not gonna affect you later. Well, it does affect here, and people do judge you, right? So, those things though do not define you now. And if you can really figure out how to, whatever it is, how to transmute that into wisdom and lessons to make you much better now, and really not let those thoughts, because like something will come up from 10 years ago that'll try to hold you back in some kind of way from achieving what you're really supposed to be doing. And if you can really overcome that in some way, by dominating those thoughts, you can transmute those into wisdom. And that's like one of the most important things, because that way then you're not haunted by the past, and that past isn't defining you, and if you were a criminal or an addict or whatever, you can still take that and transmute it into something very powerful right now and today. And we're in a day and age where it's like it's way different. It's like, this is pretty cool that we can even do this, and you can transmute that energy and become something great. Because then you're past all those difficult things. You actually can understand people in a whole different way. So say for example, you're gonna start a weight loss business. Maybe you've struggled with alcoholism, but you totally understand and resonate with it. Or you're about to get a job selling that or something. You can totally resonate with people on that level, even though you didn't, but like you understood the addiction, you understood something very difficult. You were drinking every day, you quit, you went through a detox, and then you got out of it. So it's like something that you can really relate to with other people in some kind of way. And maybe you did it for 10 years, maybe you screwed up for 10 years, but so what? Like, you learned so much depth with that when you do take off and you really do get your emotionals control back, and you find your purpose, you find your balance, you get married, whatever these things are, you then now can take all of that with you, and it's fuel. It's like, dude, this separates you from a lot of other people who didn't go through those depths, and that's just the way it is. So you can look at your past as blessings, and like, man, that was difficult. Now what can I do to teach and learn, show people that there's another way, something like that, man. So yeah, I hope that was useful, interesting for you guys. I mean, also to 32 years, I mean, just take the opportunities as they come to learn and grow, even if it's not always the exact right one. Don't be so, like, there will be more opportunities that will keep coming, and you have to just take them as they come, and do not be afraid to fail. I have tremendously. I failed with starting businesses, starting coaching stuff, and like learning stuff. Like, I had to fail and then to learn from those things. And I know that's super cliche, but like that is one of the most important things, and to figure out how to get over rejection. So if you're still getting rejected, and you're feeling that, like rejected from the world or from women or just from people, get a cold calling job, something like that, where you're just like even if you're just doing it not even for the money, just like figure out how to be able as a man to get rejected and not take it home with you, and like to be able to overcome that. That is so important. That's something that I really had to learn. I was pretty, I wanted to be everybody's friend earlier on in life. I thought you had to be super nice to be able to get the friends, and then they just ended up, you always attracted people who just kind of took advantage of that anyway. So you, not every time, you meet good people as well along the way, for sure, but also, you need to figure out how to stand up for yourself on that. And when you are learning, rejection, you kind of build like a fortress in front of yourself. So everywhere that you go in life, you're not going to be affected too much by that. And you're going to need that. You're going to need negotiation skills. You're going to need to be able to negotiate, when you meet a woman, like that stuff's very important. If you can't negotiate, if other people are getting over on you, you're going to lose respect in some kind of way, And so those things are very important. But just first and foremost, get your emotional balance under control. This is what I strongly recommend, because it is, I would say, the number one important thing. You get your emotional balance under control, you heal your emotions, you heal the world. You heal yourself, you heal the world, because you are now taking something, control back of something that has been, really controlling yourself, and the world's been kind of crazy lately because of all that. So hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, those are the things that I've learned so far. Welcome to the jungle. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.